Hey ladies and gents, welcome back. This is going to be part 3 to What If Naruto Went Rogue. That's because you guys hit the like goal, and the like goal on this video is just going to stay the same. 100 likes and you guys will get a part 4 to this What If. So with that being said, make sure to check out my Discord. I'll leave a link to that in the description, and let's do a brief recap of what actually happened in the last part. So, in the last part, Naruto basically went with Orochimaru, and he began training with him for a few years. He basically replaced Sasuke in the normal canon, I guess, of the story, and he got... Okay, I never actually stated this in the last part, but Naruto got the Inner Eye of Kagura, as well as the Chakra Chains. That's because I saw that in the comments, and I was like, oh, that'd actually be a good idea, so... Yeah, he has the Inner Eye of Kagura, along with the Chakra Chains, and much better control than what he did in the original over basically Kurama Chakra. He can go up to like the Four Tails Mark II state and be able to control himself. But any higher than that and he lose control and everything like that. So with that being said, let's actually just get into the new material of the What If. So, what would be happening in the Leaf Village currently? Well, basically everything would happen normally, except for the fact that Sasuke would be replaced with Naruto. Like, Sasuke wouldn't go and train with Jiraiya for 3 years or anything, but like, say they were trying to go rescue Gaara and everything like that, Sakura would still be there, everything would go relatively normally, except maybe when Sasuke saw Itachi's, like, 33 whatever the fuck % clone, he would get, like, really pissed off and everything like that. He might, like, do some weird stuff there, but he would still be able to do everything that Naruto did. He'd probably be able to do better, as a matter of fact, so I mean... He'd pretty easily replace Naruto and do better than him, so they'd still manage to rescue Gaara, and everything like that. That would go normally. Chiyo would sacrifice her life, and yeah. So that's how that goes. And at this, they're basically trying to do something. They're trying to discover where Orochimaru's lair is, because, you know, they have the sneaking suspicion, or not really suspicion, but they think that maybe if they do that, they can find their long-lost Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki, and either take him back to the village, or, oh my lord, or get the Nine-Tails back out of him and back into the Leaf Village's hands. So, with that, Jiraiya would still basically be, like, investigating, you know, Orochimaru's hideouts and everything like that, and come to the conclusion that Naruto was, as a matter of fact, in the hideouts, and that Orochimaru was in this same hideout that Naruto is at, too. So, with that happening, Team 7 would end up going and facing off against the, basically, you know, or Team 7 plus Yamato, because, you know, Kakashi would still have to use his Mangekyo Sharingan. So, Team 7 being Sakura, Sasuke, and Yamato, they end up going to Orochimaru's hideout. They start going through the hideout sneakily, and eventually they do encounter Naruto's room. They go inside of it, and they're about to sneak attack him, because they know for a fact they're not going to be able to get, you know, Naruto to go back to the village and everything like that. That's never going to happen. That's not a possible thing. So, Naruto, basically being on high alert at this point, because he's basically always on high alert, senses 3 people approaching him. And, well, you know, when he's sleeping, and he wakes up. He opens one eye, and nobody really notices that he's awake at this point. Naruto's looking around at what's happening and notices that one of them is about to try to kill him. So he darts up, dodging out of the attack and chopping Sakura on the neck, because she was the one who wanted to do it, because, you know, she was annoyed by Naruto in the past. So she basically was like, God damn it, yeah, that's kind of mean for Sakura, not gonna lie. I feel like Yamato would be the one to do it, but I don't care. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Naruto jumps out of the way and chops either of them in the neck. Now, the only one remaining that could do any actual amount of damage to Naruto would be, you know, Sasuke. Because Sakura, she's strong, sure, kinda, not really, but she's not anywhere near strong enough to be able to take on Naruto at this point, because Naruto is much stronger. Much, much stronger than all 3 of them even combined. So Sasuke would be the only possible, like, even getting close to exception of being able to do anything to Naruto. Activating his Sharingan, realizing that he's going to need it almost immediately, he then charges towards Naruto. Naruto pretty casually dodges out of the way of all of his attacks before basically binding him up and, you know, keeping him from moving with his Chakra Chains. Now, Naruto is about to kill him, but Orochimaru once again stops him, saying that you can't kill, you don't kill him. Like, don't do that. That would be actually bad for what I'm wanting to do later on with him. And Naruto's like, fine. He realizes that Orochimaru could be a good ally in the future and realizes that, hey, maybe he could just let Sasuke live. Orochimaru's just going to take his body and then he won't have to deal with him anymore. Orochimaru now gets the idea. He's like, well, I don't really need to train him or anything. I could just take his body now. So, with Sakura incapacitated as well as Yamato, and Naruto there holding him basically so he can't move at all, I don't really see a way that Sasuke could overcome or overpower the jutsu that Orochimaru would actually use to get the Sharingan, or not the Sharingan, but to get the body of Sasuke. He would not be able to react. He would not be able to reflect the jutsu or do whatever the heck he did, absorbing Orochimaru himself. So with that, Orochimaru is actually, you know, he got Sasuke's body. He basically accomplished his dream. He has the Sharingan now. And he's like, yeah, he's pretty excited by that. Naruto's like, well, kind of wanted to kill him, but that works too. I guess that doesn't really matter all too much. So, Naruto ends up leaving the hideout. Sakura and Yamato are both dead, and Naruto starts going towards the Leaf Village, knowing that he wants to destroy it at this point. So, with Naruto doing that, he ends up going straight to the Leaf Village. He just wants to go there and kill everybody. And I don't remember, did I make Naruto learn Sage Mode in the last part? I don't remember if I did or not. Because I feel like he could pretty easily learn Snake Sage Mode because of his, like, immense amount of chakra. So I'm going to say that he learned Snake Sage Mode, the same one that Kabuto learned. I don't know why I didn't mention that, but I'm going to say that now because I kind of forgot about it. So yeah, Naruto ends up learning that during, like, the years that he was training with Orochimaru. So as he's heading over to, you know, the Leaf Village, when he's not too far away from it, basically takes some time. He enters Sage Mode, knowing that there's going to be some tough opponents here in the village. So at this time, this is before, like, the Pain Invasion and everything like that. It's a time of peace, actually, and Naruto's going to disrupt that, to say the least. So with Naruto entering the village, everybody notices him, and a bunch of Anbu ninjas surround him as soon as he enters through the gate. They surround him and are trying to take him into custody or kill him. Either way, it doesn't really matter because he's a rogue ninja, but Naruto dodges out of the way of all their attacks. Grabbing one of their heads, he slams it into the ground, with nothing but a blood splatter where his head used to be. Everybody else is like, damn, he's so strong now. How are we supposed to take him? Naruto pulls out his sword. Because I'm going to say he learned a sword, because I'm trying to make him have a lot of parallels to Sasuke in this. So, Naruto draws his sword. All of the Anbu once again charge at Naruto, but Naruto casually dodges out of the way of all their kunai, before gracefully shanking them all with his sword. So, Naruto, now realizing that he needs to he can pretty easily take them all down with relatively no difficulty whatsoever, he just kind of walks straight into the village with basically a stream of blood behind him with a bunch of dead Anbu ninja. As Naruto's walking into the village, a bunch of people try to stop him, not really being able to do anything. One of these people being Hinata. Similar to what Sasuke did, Naruto looks at Hinata. Or, you know, to Sakura. Naruto looks at Hinata before basically coming to the conclusion that he needed to kill her. There's no other way that he could do anything, he just needed to kill her. Because she would be the only person that would be able to get anywhere near pulling Naruto out of the darkness. Naruto, for a moment, remembers back in the past, with the scarf and the kids bullying Hinata, Naruto stopping them. And he remembers some of those moments where Hinata did genuinely care for him and everything like that. So Naruto comes to the conclusion, he's like, I can't just kill her. He runs up and he chops her in the neck, knocking her out before basically putting her in one of the houses in the village, trying not to get her caught up in all of the collateral damage that Naruto is about to cause. So, as this is happening, a bunch of basically an army of ninja jump down now, and they start facing off against Naruto. The only ones that would basically pose any challenge would be Kakashi, Might Guy, and, you know, Hiruzen. I don't know if Tsunade would be back in the village or not yet, but Tsunade and Jiraiya. Everybody else would be pretty much a non-threat to Naruto at this point. Jiraiya would enter Sage Mode while everybody else basically held off against Naruto. So, that being said, let's get into the actual fight and how it would go. So, with Naruto already being in his Snake Sage Mode, he would have a massive physical advantage over literally everybody. Remember how Kid Naruto went up against Jiraiya and Four Tails, this is like a much stronger adult Naruto, or not adult, but teenage Naruto. So he would pretty easily be able to take down Jiraiya when he's in Sage Mode, because, you know, Jiraiya takes like 5 minutes to enter Sage Mode. Naruto goes up and he kills him. He pulls out his sword and he just chops his head off. Clean cut. No nothing. It's just off. Naruto now turns toward the rest. Tsunade activates her whatever 1,000 healings, whatever you want to call it, jutsu, and basically starts charging straight towards Naruto. And Naruto realizes, after a few cuts, that he's not just going to be able to kill Tsunade. He has to, like, chop her head off or some shit like that. But he would pretty easily be able to do that, too. Tsunade tries to dodge out of the way, but Naruto just clean chops her head off. And Tsunade dies at that, because she can't regenerate that much of her body at once. So, Tsunade's dead. Hiruzen and Kakashi and Might Guy are the only ones remaining, with Guy being in the 8th gate at this point. So, with Naruto being in Sage Mode, he would basically be at around the same speed as Guy, but he would massively overpower him in physical strength. So with a clean one chop, he also kills Might Guy. So, with Kakashi and Hiruzen being the only ones remaining, Hiruzen would only have one option at this point. With him being a match for Orochimaru, he would be nowhere near Naruto's power, especially with Naruto being in Sage Mode at this point. He would only have one option, the Reaper Death Seal. But remember how Orochimaru was able to, like, completely negate that almost? Like, only get his arm sealed? Naruto would be able to completely negate it. So Hiruzen loses his life, and Naruto loses basically nothing. Maybe he'd lose, like, one hand. Other than that, he would lose absolutely nothing. He could still use everything that he would want to use. So, Kakashi being the only one remaining, he would be literally crying at this point. What do you mean would he be crying? Remember how he lost literally all of his friends? Well, that just happened again. Might Guy, his rival. Hiruzen, basically, we're not really his teacher, but, you know, kind of like a role model for him. You know, like Jiraiya, another role model. Tsunade, and like all of these people that he looked up to just died in front of him. And obviously he already had the Mangekyo at this point, and he only has one Mangekyo, so he wouldn't be able to, like, unlock the Susanoo or anything like that. What would he be able to do? Not much. So, with one swift blow, Naruto pulls out his sword and cuts Kakashi's head off, clean. And after all of this is done, Hinata would wake up. She'd walk outside, see all of her family and loved ones dead. Nobody remaining alive in the village other than Naruto, who quickly leaves the second he notices Hinata awake. Hinata looks around and sees basically everybody dead. Kakashi, her teachers, everybody. Hiruzen, the third Hokage, Tsunade, Jiraiya. Everybody was dead, and it was all because Naruto came to the village. Even Danzo was dead, but that didn't really matter too much. So, you know, Danzo would actually be, like, the only person to put up any amount of fight against Naruto. That's kind of the funny thing. No, actually, Danzo might actually just leave. Danzo at this point was probably just in, like, the row. What are those things called? Like, his little... He's not even in the village at this point. That's basically what I was trying to say. So, with that happening, Naruto leaves the village. And the four Kage at this point, because the Leaf Village doesn't exist anymore, would basically notice the Leaf Village has been wiped, and it was done by one single person. And they're kind of scared by that. The Leaf Village was one of the stronger nations, and they don't know exactly how it was done. They don't know what the hell just happened, and they're trying to figure it out. And eventually, they come to the conclusion that the rogue Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki, that's the only person that would be able to do something like that. So Naruto returns to Orochimaru, and they start making plans to basically not really take over the world, but, well, yeah, kind of. They begin the plan to basically, how shall I put this? They need to take down Obito, obviously, for this plan to come into action, but over the 3 years, Naruto did gain a new plan. He basically just wanted to turn the world into something that was peaceful. Something like that. He wanted to obviously take out the Leaf Village first, and because, you know, like, he really hated them. Like, his hatred kind of took over in that part. But he basically wants to eradicate the world and then build it back up anew. Because, you know, he wanted to create a peace. With everybody basically fearing him. Kind of similar to what Sasuke wanted to do after the war. But that's where I'm going to leave this part up. So I'll see you guys in the next part. Peace out. Bye.